welcome to the wonderful world of Waikato Sheds. We're here with everybody's favourite shed builder, Paul. How are you going, Paul?
I'm Stan, isn't it?
Stan is everybody's favourite. He's a little bit scared to get up on camera. He's a great shed builder, but he's just, he hasn't blossomed fully into a cameraman yet.
Yeah,
But,
I'm retiring to cameraman.
yeah, and the sheds are just going to be built by Stan now. But we're here with something a bit different for what we're normally on camera building.
Yeah.
Building
timber this time, which is always fun. And someone's already kindly marked and drilled the holes for us, so all we have to do is put some profiles up and set the poles up so they're correct in the right place, and chuck some concrete in, and then it's all go.
Be time to head to the bar after that.
Yeah, and the good thing about pole sheds is this is where you get your bracing from in the ground, as strong as you don't have to try and rely on this. Seriously, the structure here comes from the ground, the strength in them.
Yeah, so we've got our poles at about 1,500 deep, and then they'll have 100mm footing on them. So yeah, like Paul's saying, they're going to be super strong, all concreted into the ground. And then we are doing a full concrete floor on this. When we set it out, we thought we were just concreting the closed-in bay, but we're actually going to concrete it all, then get New Zealand equine in and put some of their rubber matting down so Barney the horse can be as comfortable as possible.
It'll be the Rolls-Royce stable shed.
Yeah. So we'll go through today on this video. It's going to be about how to set up your profiles and place your poles into the ground, brace your poles, get them nice and plumb, and then concrete them in. So
I'm really looking forward to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to go back to my days when I was building suspension bridges, back into the archives and remember that, and we'll get that done. So yeah, look forward to that. It's really cool with this is all New Zealand growing timber as well. So everything's sourced locally and
machine gauge too.
Machine gauge, yeah.
So it's nice to work with. Be straight.
Yeah, straight and light, which is the feedback we've been having from everybody. It's really good.
But this has by far been the smoothest sailing, easily. The materials are just next level. Everything's kiln dry, everything's straight, everything's just a dream to work with, to be honest.
Yeah. You're not so knackered at the end of the day from lugging wet timber around, and because it's kiln dried, it won't bow as it dries out in the structure, so we're going to really be able to produce a top quality product.
It will be the Rolls Royce, yep. Yeah. Looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll crack into it and take you along the journey.
See you there.
Cheers. So what we're doing here is we've got in little half cinder blocks, and because when you put poles into the ground, you should pour what they call a punch pad, so a couple of 100mm of concrete at the bottom of your pole. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. One, you can pull your pole up a couple of 100mm and then put a piece of timber and float your pole, which is one way to do it, and a lot of people do it that way. This is another way I haven't done before, but I've been told about it from Pete and Reese, who built the pole shed for us here at work. So we've got these that are 190, so that's going to keep it nicely up and off the ground and let concrete go into it, forming a punch pad, so that then the pole sitting up on it, which is going to give the pole a longer life from not rotting out, plus more stability for any downward pressure to push against this pad. So I've gotten some strap bracing and I've just bent that up. And I'm just going to screw that onto there, and then when we pick our poles up and lower them to the hole, we know that they're up and off the ground. So we'll go through and we'll do that to all our poles. We've got the crane truck here, so we're going to pick them up and put them in. If you were just going to manhandle these into your holes, possibly you would want to float them, because cinder block will smash if you drop it into them. So there's a couple of different ways to do it, and both ways are good. So we'll do this and follow along and see how it all goes. So just with bending up these to hold the cinder block on the bottom, if you sit it across your cinder block, you're able to get quite a nice bend on those. And then bend that round, and then that's just nice, really sharp bend, and it's going to hold that really nice and tight. So it's just a good little trick for getting those snug on your blocks. I've attached this to the one end, and then at the other end we're going to drill holes into it. So just at the very top we're just drilling a hole through there so that we can put a bolt through, so we're able to hook a lifting strap onto there to lift them into position. So like building steel sheds, the more work you can do on the ground is going to be easier, so we'll go through and do all of that. Here Paul just actually has a piece of rebar we're going to put through, and then a lifting strap
This can carry 300 kilos, so that'll be fine.
onto that, and then we'll go through, place those all in and brace them all into position.
Very dry.
Nice and dry. Another great thing, no swarf on these, so it's nice to just drill through and don't have to worry about blowing any of that off.
So we're just going to hook that on like so, swing that on the crane, going down nice and straight.
Lift out, and that's what, with having a crane or a tractor or something to lift these in with, we're going to be able to hold them really steady to brace it, to make sure we get them all nice and plumb into their holes. So yeah, what we're going to do, so just repeat the process again and again, get that all ready, and then we can pop over and see what Stan's doing.
Well, hopefully he's working.
Yeah, good. Somebody needs to do. Cool, so we've set it up. So what we've done is set up our 4 corner profiles, and with a dumpy level we've got in a ground height, then come up 120 mil, because we're going to put a 120 mil pad into it. So we've set that up, so that's what we've done here, set up our profiles, and then we've gone and run our string lines. So if you can imagine, the pole's going to sit in the center here of our 2 string lines. So we've gone through and measured our distance and put our marks, put our nails in, then set up our string lines, and then squared between the corners to make sure that our pad's sitting perfectly square. It's not at all lopsided. So we've done a little bit of adjustment to work that out, to get it perfectly square. And now when we're going to bring the crane truck in and start placing our poles in and bracing them off. So we've just gone through and done that. So it's just when you're setting it out, you've got to remember that that's where your pole's sitting, and place them in, and we'll go through and sit those in and brace them, and then do all of that. So we'll go along, and that's our next step. Back on site at our new stables builds, and we've had the team at Crooks and Crete out, and they've gotten up earlier than I got up this morning, so they'd have been here at probably 5:30, got the concrete truck, got a pump in, and they've pumped it, and now Malcolm is running the machine, and that's just vibrating and pushing the rock down and bringing up the cream, so bringing up the nice cement, so we can work that to a really nice smooth finish. So he's just going to go through and do that on the open bay, do a little bit on the exposed bay, but we're not looking for a really perfect finish on this, being in an open barn. I'm here with Malcolm from Cooks and Crete. How are you, Malcolm?
Yeah, good, bro. How are
That's
you?
good. Yeah, very well. And what are you up to this morning?
Getting a bit wet today.
Getting a bit wet, winter, beautiful.
Yeah, apart from that, just doing a bit of concrete as norm.
Cool, so got the guys got in here early before I was up and at 'em. And what do you do? Got a concrete pump in
Yeah,
and
we had
pump
to get
this?
a concrete pump for this because the truck's got stuck on our first nudge at it. Started about 5:30. Try to beat the weather, but
So, and then with this, we'd had it all prepped for you guys, and you've just come in and laid this concrete that has the fibres in it.
Yeah.
You work with that very often?
yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, really good, eh?
yeah, very good. Hard to keep from sticking out, but there's tricks to do that. So,
Tricks to it. And then with this one just being the what are they, what sort of fibre?
plastic, these are plastic
Like a
ones,
plastic
yeah,
fibre. It
fibres.
doesn't matter as much if some come to the top.
Nah, you can
as
just snip them off.
Yeah, that's it. Opposed to the steel ones that rust, and it'd be really sharp if you did get it in.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Especially for the horses' feet. So
Yeah. Cool. So you just gone through, done that, and then just waiting for it to dry off a little bit, and then you're gonna use your machine to finish it off for us.
Yeah, we had a bit of rain come through, so I squeezed all the water off, and we'll just hit it again to get the footprints out, and just another waiting game, hopefully.
Cool. So if somebody was doing this themselves, if they were going to have a crack at it, is anything you'd suggest?
Get at least one person that knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a few little concrete jobs, and it looks way easier than it is. It's super hard work, and you got to know the tricks.
Yeah.
So that's not actually a bad idea. It's just hire in a concrete placer to get them to come and help. You can run the barrows, doing that stuff, but having somebody that knows how to use a ball float and those sorts of things is pretty priceless.
Making sure everything's to height. And I wouldn't, if you don't, well, if it's at your place, you wouldn't worry too much, but if it's for someone else, you'd get the professional in for sure.
Yeah, and that's it. We're sort of thinking it for the kit set clients that want to have a go at it all, but there's probably some bits like this that doing the concrete, you're just better off paying somebody to do it because it's not, you're not saving yourself.
No, you can make it worse, You can make it a lot more costly.
You've got one go at concrete and that's it, and then you got to live with it forever, so worth getting on to you guys. So you guys obviously do pole barns. What else do you do?
Yeah, driveways, house floors, cow sheds.
Cool.
Footpath, everything.
Yep. And do you do your own boxing, or do you guys just do laying?
Nah, just laying at the moment, but we are looking at hiring a builder, qualified builder, so we will start.
Be able to box up pads and things.
Open up a few more avenues and
nice.
do the full contract.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this machine here that we've got behind us, what does that do?
That will basically take the hard work out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. It does the same as you would on knee boards, but pushes all the stones down, fills in any dips and hollows that may be there, or
any
just brings all the cream
imperfections.
to the top. Yeah,
Nice, and then just get a really nice finish on it.
Nice smooth finish.
Awesome. Okay, and then on this one we've formed the rebate.
Yes, we have.
So on this rebate here, this is a little bit different to the rebates we normally do, but we do these on sheds. They're really good to stop any water ingress into the building. So you just lay the whole pad, then we'd had it marked out, and you just dig that out with a trowel down to size, and then just finish it off.
Straighten them up, run an edge through it, and give it a bit of fallout. So once that boxing's removed, any water will float down.
Cool. Too easy.
Yeah, mate.
Awesome. We'll leave you to it. Come back when it's all finished and admire the good work.
Sweet as, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Easy. No worries.
Back to the wonderful world of Waikato Sheds. I might have already said that in this video, but if not, it's good to have you along with us. We're over at the stables build, and Paul and Stan have shot off for lunch, so you're not going to get to see their pretty faces on camera, but what they're doing at the moment is forming the doorway. So this is going to be the tack room with a roller door. So they have cut their bottom plate, put a bottom plate in, and then started to put their door jambs on. So we've got a few different things going on since the last time we had the camera out. They've put all of the purlins in, all the rafters in, and formed an opening for a PA door and some windows. So with our sheds, we use all kiln dried timber, so it's nice and light, straight, and stays how it is once you put it in. And because of that, with our kiln dried and machine gauged poles, you're able to do a really nice finish on all your timber work. So knocking it over as spray paint. So they're just forming that opening at the moment. Then on this one, we're going to have a little bird's beak come out the front. So they started to, over on the far side, started to work out the angle for that bird's beak using some plates and bolts to hold that into position. So they'll do both ends, then string line that up and build the rest of that. So as we can see with our windows, they've put two jambs in, and then they've got their top and bottom plates set into there, and then at the top we've got a double top plate to really make that nice and strong. So they've fitted those up. They've probably made them 10 mil bigger than the window just to give themselves a bit of room for that, and they've built one on the back, one on the side, and then coming through into a PA door as well. So with all of these, they've nicely cut these out into size, and then they've they've used their girt plates as well and screwed those off with Tech screws. So we'll supply you all of those Tech screws from our friends at Connect Fastenings. On this being the closed-in tack room, we've put the bottom plates on the ground to make it hard so no vermin can get in or anything like that. We've dynabolted those to the ground, and we've used DPS under it to stop moisture rising through that concrete and in. Obviously, when we did this, we also put the plastic under the concrete, so it's going to be super dry and good. So yeah, they've done a great job. They're going to go through, put a bit more on. So back into our open base here, and just to stop their bottom plate sagging, they've put a little bit of timber under there. Once they've got all the tin cladding on the walls, that will stop it. Sometimes you'll see in your timber you're going to get a bit of a sag in these as well. So what you might want to do before you run your cladding is put a piece of wood up here, get these nice and level, and just put a screw in underneath to hold them level, so that then after you've screwed all your lines of tin off, you can remove that and you've got beautiful, nice, straight timber. So yeah, it's looking really good all round. All the cutouts that they've done, they've gotten those really nice and tight into there. So how they've done that forms a nice straight line at the back, and then just looks really good, way stronger and way better. So you really want to see that in your pole shed. So yeah, they've gone through, done all of that, do the bird speak, and then we'll be getting the true oak corrugate from Roofing Industries and be cladding it all soon. We're going to have dry decks on the walls, I believe, in there and on the roof. So here we'll have an internal wall coming down, and this back wall we're also going to lay in tin just to keep it really tidy. Then New Zealand Equine Services, we're going to get a big stable box off for in here and have a nice stable box for the horse. So yeah, exciting times ahead. If we pop over, we can just look at a couple of the tools that you'll need if you're doing this as a builder or a professional. Skill saw, must have, battery operated. Got a brand new blade on there the other day. It's always, all your work is going to look better and be easier to do if you've got new blades on your machinery. And then the Makita jigsaw, new blade on there. These, you can get battery operated ones, obviously. When you're doing a lot of cutting and you want really nice lines, a power tool is often the best bet. So they're just a couple of the tools the guys are using: concrete saws, nail gun, tech guns, all those sorts of things to get it all done. So we'll check back in soon once all the framing's fully done, and then get cladding. Cheers.